Friends, today I stand before you with a heart full of conviction and a soul ignited by possibility. Let's talk about what it means to become the person who attracts success. Not the kind of success that's measured solely by bank accounts or titles, but the kind that radiates from within, a life of purpose, connection, and unshakable authenticity. This journey isn't about chasing fleeting victories. It's about cultivating the courage, resilience, and heart to draw success to you like a magnet. So let's dive in with open minds and fearless spirits and explore how to embody the person who doesn't just dream of success, but lives it every single day. First, let's start with the foundation. You are enough. Not tomorrow, not when you've checked off every goal, but right now, in this moment, with all your imperfections and uncertainties. Success doesn't come from being flawless. It comes from embracing your whole, messy, beautiful self. The world will try to convince you that you need to be more polished, more accomplished, more something. But the truth, the moment you accept yourself as enough, you unlock a power that no external validation can give you. That's where success begins, in the quiet, radical act of self-acceptance. Now, accepting yourself doesn't mean settling. It means standing in your worth and daring to grow from there. Growth is the heartbeat of success, but it's not always glamorous. It's showing up for the hard work, the early mornings, the moments when doubt creeps in like an uninvited guest. Growth asks you to stretch beyond your comfort zone, to lean into discomfort, and to trust that every step forward, no matter how small, shapes you into someone who attracts opportunity. So commit to learning, to evolving, to becoming a little braver each day. Let's talk about courage, because it's the spark that sets everything else ablaze. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the choice to move forward despite it. To attract success, you must be willing to take risks. Not reckless ones, but the kind that make your heart race and your palms sweat. It's pitching that bold idea, starting that business, or even saying no when it's easier to say yes. Courage is showing up as your true self in a world that often rewards conformity. When you lead with courage, you send a signal to the universe, I'm ready for what's next. But courage alone isn't enough. You need clarity of purpose, of values, of what success means to you. Without it, you're just running a race with no finish line. Take the time to ask yourself, what lights me up? What impact do I want to make? Clarity isn't about having all the answers. It's about knowing what matters most to you and letting that guide your choices. When you align your actions with your deepest truths, success stops being something you chase and becomes something you embody. And here's the thing about clarity. It requires honesty. Brutal, soul-bearing honesty. You have to look at your life, your habits, your relationships, your excuses, and ask, is this serving me? Success doesn't coexist with denial. If you're clinging to patterns that hold you back, it's time to let them go. This isn't about judgment, it's about liberation. Honesty frees you to build a life that reflects who you are and who you're becoming. It's the compass that keeps you on course. Now, let's talk about resilience, because the road to success is rarely a straight line. There will be setbacks, failures, moments when you question everything. Resilience isn't about bouncing back unscathed. It's about rising, even when you're bruised. It's learning from mistakes, forgiving yourself, and choosing to keep going. The person who attracts success doesn't see failure as a verdict. They see it as a teacher. So when life knocks you down, pause, breathe, and then stand up taller than before. Connection is another cornerstone of this journey. Success doesn't happen in isolation. It's built through relationships with mentors, peers, and communities who lift you up and hold you accountable. Surround yourself with people who challenge you to be better, who celebrate your wins and support you through your struggles. Be intentional about who you let into your circle. Seek out those who inspire you, not those who drain you. And don't just take, give. Share your gifts, your time, your heart. Generosity creates a ripple effect that draws success back to you. Let's pause for a moment and talk about vulnerability. Yes, vulnerability, the thing we're taught to avoid at all costs. But here's the truth. Vulnerability is your superpower. It's the courage to say, I don't have it all figured out, or I need help. It's sharing your story, your dreams, your fears, and trusting that your authenticity will connect you to others. Vulnerability builds trust, and trust builds opportunity. When you show up as your real self, you create space for success to find you. And speaking of showing up, let's talk about consistency. Success isn't a one-time event. It's the result of small, deliberate actions repeated over time. It's writing that page every day, making that call, showing up to the gym even when you're tired. Consistency turns dreams into realities. It's not sexy, but it's powerful. The person who attracts success doesn't wait for motivation. They build habits that carry them forward, even on the hard days. So commit to showing up again and again for yourself and your goals. Now, let's address the inner critic. That voice in your head that whispers, you're not good enough. We all have it, and it's loudest when we're on the verge of something big. Don't fight that voice, acknowledge it, then choose to move forward anyway. Reframe your self-talk. Instead of I can't, try I'm learning. Instead of I failed, say I'm growing. The way you speak to yourself shapes the way you show up in the world. Be your own biggest cheerleader and watch how success starts to follow. Gratitude is another magnet for success. When you focus on what you have rather than what you lack, you shift your energy. Gratitude doesn't ignore life's challenges. It reframes them. It reminds you that even in the struggle, there's beauty, growth, and possibility. Start each day with a simple practice. Name 3 things you're grateful for. It could be a warm cup of coffee, a kind word from a friend, or the fact that you're still here fighting for your dream. Gratitude opens your heart and invites abundance. Let's talk about boundaries because they're non-negotiable. To attract success, you have to protect your time, your energy, and your peace. Say no to things that don't align with your goals. Let go of relationships that dim your light. Boundaries aren't about being selfish. They're about being intentional. They create space for what truly matters: your growth, your dreams, your well-being. When you value yourself enough to set boundaries, others will value you too. And while we're on the topic of value, let's talk about self-worth. Success isn't something you earn. It's something you claim. You don't need a certain job, body, or bank balance to be worthy of success. Your worth is inherent, unshakable, and non-negotiable. When you internalize this, you stop apologizing for taking up space. You walk into rooms with confidence, not arrogance, knowing that you belong. Through that kind of energy, it's magnetic. Now, let's get practical for a moment. Success requires action. Not just any action, but aligned action. Break your big dreams into small, manageable steps. Write them down, create a plan, and then, here's the key, start. You don't need to know every detail. You just need to take the first step. Momentum builds from there. The person who attracts success is someone who pairs vision with execution, who dreams big but acts small day after day. Let's not forget about rest. In a world that glorifies hustle, rest is revolutionary. You can't pour from an empty cup, and you can't attract success if you're burned out. Rest isn't laziness, it's strategy. It's giving your mind and body the space to recharge so you can show up fully. So sleep, take breaks, say no to overcommitment. Prioritize your well-being because a rested you is a powerful you. And while we're talking about power, let's talk about authenticity. The world doesn't need another cookie cutter version of success. It needs you, your unique voice, your perspective, your story. Stop trying to fit into someone else's mold. Your quirks, your passions, your experiences. They're your greatest assets. When you lean into what makes you different, you stand out in a way that no one else can replicate. Authenticity is your edge. Let's touch on patience, because success doesn't happen overnight. It's a marathon, not a sprint. There will be seasons of waiting, of planting seeds that don't bloom right away. Trust the process. Trust that every effort, every lesson, every moment of growth is building something beautiful. The person who attracts success knows how to wait without losing hope, how to trust without forcing outcomes. And here's a hard truth. You'll have to let go of some things to make room for success. Old habits, toxic relationships, limiting beliefs, they're like anchors holding you back. Letting go is painful, but it's also freeing. It's making space for new possibilities, new connections, new versions of yourself. Ask yourself, what am I holding on to that's no longer serving me? Then, with courage and grace, release it. Let's talk about vision. Success starts with a dream, a vivid, unapologetic picture of what you want your life to look like. Close your eyes and imagine it. What do you see? What do you feel? Let that vision guide you, but don't let it paralyze you. A vision isn't a destination, it's a North Star. It keeps you moving in the right direction, even when the path is unclear. Hold it loosely, but never let it go. And while we're dreaming, let's talk about possibility. The person who attracts success believes that more is possible, more joy, more impact, more growth. They don't settle for good enough because they know the world is full of opportunities waiting to be claimed. Cultivate a mindset of abundance. Replace I can't with how can I? Replace it's too late with it's never too late. Possibility is a choice, and it's one you can make every day. Let's not ignore the role of discipline. Dreams are beautiful, but discipline is what brings them to life. It's saying no to distractions, staying focused when it's easier to quit, and doing the work even when no one's watching. Discipline isn't about perfection, it's about commitment. It's choosing your future self over instant gratification. Build systems, routines, schedules, accountability that make discipline easy. Success loves structure. And speaking of love, let's talk about self-love, not the fluffy kind, but the fierce, unwavering kind that says, I am worthy of my dreams. Self-love is taking care of your body, your mind, your spirit. It's forgiving yourself for past mistakes and celebrating your progress. It's speaking to yourself with kindness, even when you fall short. When you love yourself deeply, you show the world how to value you. And that attracts success. Let's touch on curiosity. The person who attracts success is endlessly curious about the world, about themselves, about what's possible. They ask questions. They seek out new perspectives. They're not afraid to admit what they don't know. Curiosity keeps you growing, keeps you open, keeps you alive. So stay curious. Read widely, listen deeply, explore boldly. Let curiosity lead you to unexpected places. And while we're exploring, let's talk about failure. Not as something to fear, but as something to embrace. Failure is proof that you're trying, that you're pushing your limits. Every misstep is a lesson, every rejection a redirection. The person who attracts success doesn't avoid failure, they learn from it. They dust themselves off, adjust their approach, and keep going. Failure isn't the opposite of success, it's part of it. Let's talk about impact. Success isn't just about what you achieve, it's about what you contribute. How are you making the world better? How are you lifting others up? The most successful people are those who leave a legacy of kindness, innovation, and change. Find ways to serve through your work, your relationships, your community. When you focus on impact, success follows naturally. And here's a secret. Success is already within you. It's not something you find out there. It's something you uncover. Every time you choose courage, clarity, resilience, or authenticity, you're tapping into that inner well of success. It's been there all along, waiting for you to claim it. So stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. You are the person who attracts success, and you're ready now. Let's talk about joy, because success without joy is hollow. Find what makes your heart sing and weave it into your life. Dance, laugh, create, connect. Whatever it is, make time for it. Joy fuels resilience, creativity, and connection. It's the spark that keeps you going when the road gets tough. The person who attracts success knows that joy isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. And while we're on joy, let's talk about presence. Success isn't just about the future, it's about the moment you're in right now. Be here. Notice the small victories, the fleeting beauty, the quiet moments of growth. Presence grounds you, keeps you connected to your purpose. It reminds you that success isn't a destination, it's a way of being. Let's address comparison, because it's a thief of success. Your journey is yours alone. Someone else's wins don't diminish yours. Their path, their pace, their story, they're not your measure. Focus on your growth, your goals, your heart. Celebrate others without losing sight of your own worth. The person who attracts success runs their own race with gratitude and grace. And speaking of grace, give it to yourself. You're gonna mess up. You're gonna doubt yourself. You're gonna have days when you feel like giving up. That's okay. Grace is the gentle reminder that you're human, that you're learning, that you're enough. Offer yourself the same compassion you'd offer a dear friend. Grace keeps you moving forward. Let's talk about trust. Trust in yourself, in the process, in the unfolding of your life. Success doesn't always look the way you expect. Sometimes it's quieter, deeper, more meaningful than you imagined. Trust that you're on the right path, even when it's winding. Trust that every step is shaping you into the person you're meant to be. Trust that success is already finding its way to you. And finally, let's talk about love. Not just self-love, but love for the journey, love for the people you meet along the way, love for the life you're building. Love is the ultimate magnet for success. When you move through the world with an open, loving heart, you create connections, opportunities, and moments that ripple far beyond what you can see. Love is the why behind it all. So, my friends, here's my challenge to you. Become the person who attracts success, not by chasing it, but by embodying it. Be courageous, be clear, be resilient, be authentic. Show up for yourself, for your dreams, for the world. Trust that you are enough, that you are ready, that you are already on your way. Success isn't something you find, it's something you become. And you right here, right now, are exactly where you need to be to start. Thank you.